How you doing there, folks? Lame Schmull here, coming to you from FEMA Region number 3. Now, let me say right off the bat here, I had no intention of coming on here and talking about Trumpy's trip to the land of Elohim, but here we go. Now, to start this here ball rolling, I'm gonna play a clip from a video that many of you may have already seen. Here it is.
I woke up at 3:30 this morning, Hawaii time, in anticipation of the much-awaited speech by Trump to all of the Muslim leaders there in Riyadh. And I have to say that I'm not surprised, and I'll explain why I say that. Trump spoke as presidents before him spoke. And in so doing, he profaned and even blasphemed the true and the living God by implying that Muslims, Jews, and Christians worship the same God.
That is exactly what that man did in Saudi Arabia on May 21st of 2017. He blasphemed the name of the Almighty of Hosts. Yes, he did. And woe to this man who said nothing. And woe to these Christians, these voters, these praisers of these men who say, oh, well, they're politicians, they're diplomats, they can't come right out and defend the God that they claim to believe in. No, they can't, because they want their jobs. They are friends of the world, people. They're friends of the world, and they are ashamed of the word of Elohim. They're ashamed of it. Earlier, before they were in this room here, in the picture you see here, Netanyahu gave Trump a Bible. But you know what? Let me tell you what. They don't have a clue what's in it. They don't have a clue what's in it. Oh, Laden, how can you say that? How can I say that? I don't say it. The book says it. The living word of Elohim says it. While they were standing up there at their podiums, all they kept saying was peace, peace. We're going to have peace. We're going to bring peace. There's going to be peace. And then at the very end, Trump tops it off with, I hope. Now, I understand completely that old Bibi over there does not believe that Yeshua is the Mashiach. But what about Trump over there, huh? What about you who voted for him, you Christians? What about you? Do you believe that this scripture here applies to him? He who claims to honor the scriptures? Do you believe that this applies to Mr. Trump, this president here? This man who says that he is a follower of Yeshua? Study to show thyself approved unto Elohim, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Do you out there who say you are followers of Yeshua and you support this man, do you believe that this scripture applies to him? Or do you give him a pass because he's a politician, because he's got to keep his job up there behind that podium and be politically correct? Woe to you. Woe to you as well. Shame on you if you think like that and give this man a pass. And you can be more than sure that I am certainly praying that none of you out there are like this dude over here that was in the chat room while the press conference was going on. Look at this. Trump is Prince of Peace, King of Kings. Oh, that's great, isn't it? And some of you are saying, oh, maybe he's just being sarcastic, but I don't care if he's being sarcastic. It's up there in black and white. That's a sign, no matter whether they're joking or not. A sign of what, Laban? A sign that Trump is the Antichrist? No, it's a sign that the guy in the chat room is an idiot. And a fulfillment of the prophecy that says that people will believe a lie, which will prepare them for believing the lie. Okay? Oh, I know full well that I'm ruffling feathers out there with this one. Oh, Laban, you don't know their hearts. You don't know how much of the scriptures they know. Well, I know this. All I know, like I said before, peace, peace, peace. That's all they kept saying. And if they had any idea what was in that book with regard to prophecy, they would know this. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel who prophesy, and say to those who prophesy out of their own heart, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus says the Adon Yahweh, woe to the foolish prophets who follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, your prophets are like foxes in the deserts. You have not gone up into the gaps to build a wall for the house of Israel to stand in battle on the day of Yahweh. They have envisioned futility and false divination, saying, thus says Yahweh. But Yahweh has not sent them, yet they hope that the word may be confirmed. Have you not seen a futile vision, and have you not spoken false divination? You say, Yahweh says, but I have not spoken. Therefore, thus says the Adon Yahweh, because you have spoken nonsense and envisioned lies, therefore I am indeed against you, says the Adon Yahweh. My hand will be against the prophets who envision futility and who divine lies. They shall not be in the assembly of my people, nor be written in the record of the house of Israel, nor shall they enter the land of Israel. Then you shall know that I am the Adon Yahweh. Because they have seduced my people, saying peace, when there is no peace. And one builds a wall, and they coat it with whitewash. Say to those who coat it with whitewash that it will fall. There will be flooding rain, and you, O great hailstones, shall fall, and a stormy wind shall tear it down. Surely when the wall has fallen, will it not be said to you, where is the coating with which you coated it? Therefore, says the Adon Yahweh, I will cause a stormy wind to break forth in my fury, and there shall be a flooding rain in my anger, and great hailstones in fury to consume it. So I will break down the wall you have coated with whitewash, and bring it down to the ground, so that its foundation will be uncovered. It will fall, and you shall be consumed in the midst of it. Then you shall know that I am Yahweh. Thus I will accomplish my wrath on the wall and on those who have coated it with whitewash, and I will say to you, the wall is no more, nor those who coated it. That is the prophets of Israel who prophesy concerning Jerusalem, and who see visions of peace for her, when there is no peace, says the Adon Yahweh. Now, do you who support him, who say you are followers of Yeshua, do you think that he should be aware, at least aware, of such a passage in the scriptures that he says he reveres? And also, I find it very interesting. Now, I don't know whether Ezekiel is being literal or metaphorical with this particular thing here that I'm about to tell you, but is it not interesting that with regards to his saying that there will be no peace, is it not interesting that he sort of presents it unto us as the tearing down of a wall? I find that very interesting, especially this passage right here. Thus will I accomplish my wrath on the wall, and on those who have coated it with whitewash. And I will say to you, the wall is no more, nor those who coated it. Do you think that their little passage might be somewhat relevant, Mr. President? Do you think this passage just might be a little bit prophetic? I think we could ask him that, but I don't think it would do any good, because I don't think that he is aware that the passage exists. What do you think, Christian voters? What do you think, Trump supporters? Do you think he is aware of this passage? Or does he get a pass because he wasn't elected to be a Bible scholar? Now, for those of you out there saying, hey, listen to this. Laban says that the wall to keep the Mexicans out is in the book of Ezekiel. You want to know what I'm saying? Let me tell you what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this, that as this man right here pronounces to the world that he is of, that his great hope is to bring peace to Israel, as he does that, the word of Elohim equates the fact that there will be no peace to the obliteration of a wall. And aside from the word money, there is no other word but wall that Trump has been associated with since before he even announced his intention to run for president. And by the looks at those headlines, it appears that the plans of Elohim are somewhat contrary to those of Mr. Trump. So no, even if he was aware of this scripture, I don't think he'd like it. And if you don't like the analogy of the Mexican wall, how's about we take a look at another wall that we find in scripture, of all which is famous for that which was written on it. But when his heart, that is Nebuchadnezzar's, but when his heart was lifted up, and his spirit was hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. Then he was driven from the sons of men. His heart was made like the beasts, and his dwelling was of the wild donkeys. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of the Shamaim, till he knew that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and appoints over it whomever he chooses. But you, his son, Belshazzar, have not humbled your heart, although you knew this, and you have lifted yourself up against the Adon of the Shamaim, and they have brought the vessels of his house before you, and you and your lords, your wives, and your concubines have drunk wine from them, and you have praised the gods of silver and gold, bronze and iron, wood and stone, which do not see or hear or know. And the Most High El, who holds your breath in his hand, and owns all your ways, you have not glorified. Then the fingers of the hand were sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the inscription that was written. Mine, mine, tekel, upharsin. This is the interpretation of each word. Mene. Elohim has numbered your kingdom and finished it. Tekel, you have been weighed in the balances and found wanting. Are you familiar, Donald, with the story of that wall? And the president might answer back, but what's this got to do with my trip, this Daniel 5:20 through 27? Well, I don't know, Donald. Maybe it's just me. But what are the dates of this trip? Stew on that a while. Oh, wait a second there, Leben. There was one more word up on that wall. You didn't say what you parson meant, did you? Does that have anything to do with Trumpy's trip? Well, let's say that he leaves the G7 sometime on the 27th of May. He might still be in the air on the 28th. So let's see. What does Daniel 5:28 say? Well, we're going to find out in a moment. But before we do, I want to ask you a question. Which nation has Trump been railing against during this trip? I think it's the country of Iran. Now let's take a look at Daniel 5, verse 28. Perez, that is Upharsin, your kingdom has been divided and given to the Medes and Persians. And who, pray tell, is Persia? There's your prophecy alert. Now I got one last thing to say about this, and that is to harken back to what Pastor J.D. said. Pastor J.D. Farag has actually come right out and said that Donald Trump has blasphemed the Most High, the Almighty of Hosts. And let me tell you something. If these two men right here, this Donald Trump and this Benjamin Netanyahu, if they don't open their eyes and open those scriptures and read them for what they really say, and get on their knees and seek the counsel of the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Elohim whom they claim to have belief in. If they do not do that, there is only one thing that they will go down in history as. They're not gonna go down in history as great leaders of their countries, and they will certainly not go down as men who defended the honor and glorified the name of the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No. If they do not get on their knees and seek his counsel in all that they do, there is only one thing that they're gonna go down in history as, and that is this. That's it. The video's done.